How do you take the performance hierarchy of your organization and break it down so that people are clear in terms of the expectations, and they can also have visibility as to what they're doing has a difference and is making a difference to the overall performance of the team?
Hi, and welcome to Helping You Perform. I'm your host, Paul Teasdale. Over a career working with high-performing teams from across the globe, including 7 years working with Formula One team McLaren, I've learned a lot about what it takes to drive results. In this weekly podcast series, I'm going to be bringing you tips, tricks, and insights from the world of Formula One that you can apply to your organisation for your high performance. Enjoy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Helping You Perform, where I bring my tips, tricks, insights, and stories from the world of F1 and help you accelerate your own performance. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode, which is episode 83, where I talked about decisions for insights. So, focusing on the decisions you need to make in order to understand the insights that you're going to need to make the best decisions. If you haven't had a chance, go back to that episode, have a listen to that. But this week, I want to talk to you about sort of objectives, cascading things down through the business, and what I've learned from the world of F1 that's really helped me to frame some of those things up in my work and for myself, but for the teams that I've worked with as well and the teams that work with me. Now, when I was working in the world of F1, we used to talk about, what's the overall performance and what's the hierarchy and performance hierarchy that sits within that, so that each element knows what role it has to play and how it influences the overall performance piece. So by understanding what it is you're trying to drive at the top level, you can start to break that down into the elements that make up the performance. So if you're in an operational role, for instance, you might be thinking about operations includes, how do I move the materials to and from the factory? So the logistics and the warehousing and the supply chain elements. It might be include the production side. So how I make that product as most effectively and efficiently as I possibly can. But you also might have the engineering or maintenance sort of piece as well. How do I make sure that that element is maintained and the equipment and the facilities are maintained to allow me to do that stuff? So I've already got sort of three elements where I can say, right, I'm going to break that down. Now, this may well align to your departments. It might not. There might be some cross-functional bits, but by looking at that, if I'm performing well in each one of those three areas, it helps me to drive the overall operation. And same within F1, if you want the car to go as quickly as you possibly can or to get the maximized points, then there are elements that sit around that. You need powertrain, so you need the car to have lots of power when you need it. It also needs grip, and it also needs, it needs the handling ability to maintain that power and to put that power onto the track itself. But you also need the human factor as well. You need somebody who can react well so that it can utilize the equipment to actually get the best performance out of that as well. So you've got sort of elements of power, you've got the chassis elements, you've got aerodynamics maybe. You can start to break this down into a hierarchy. And this helps you when you're setting those objectives to say, what do we need to achieve overall? And then with each one of those areas, each one of those departments, each one of those teams, and each one of those individuals, what do you do that leads to, or what should you be doing that leads to the overall performance? And this can be really, really valuable in terms of one, making sure that you've got people targeted on the right things in the first place. Two, that people are clear as to what their expectations are and what performance and what good looks like. And what I found particularly useful in an operational world or in a real life sort of job world is to say, you've got your core job, the thing that you were just there to do, deliver the plan, make the product, move the product, keep the factory up and running if you're in the engineering team, sell the product if you're in the sales team, do the finances, do the bookkeeping if you're in the finance team. But your objectives on top of that are about how do we build things up for the next level. So how are you building capability or capacity and things like that. And so you can set those objectives where you can call out what the core function is of the organization and the team and the individual. Well, what are the objectives that you're setting them for this time period? Maybe it's a quarter, a 6 month review, maybe it's an annual bonus that you're basing this on, so that you can say, as well as your core function, which I just expect you to do as a minimum, these are the objectives that I'm setting for you to allow you to hit the targets and to allow this business to hit its targets. Therefore, I'm going to reward you with whatever that might be. Maybe it's a bonus, a promotion, recognition in some other way. So use that approach for yourself. How do you take the performance hierarchy of your organization and break it down so that people are clear in terms of the expectations, and they can also have visibility to what they're doing has a difference and is making a difference to the overall performance of the team. If you want some examples of this, or you want to talk about it, please do get in touch. Go to paulteasdale.co.uk. I'd love to hear your stories and how you're making use of all of these things. And I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Helping You Perform podcast. If you found value in this episode, please take a moment to like, share, or review the podcast. You can reach out to me at any time, either through LinkedIn or through my website at www.paulteasdale.co.uk. I look forward to speaking to you in the next episode.